Unscannable 33.
The title of the talk is Conspiracy and Class Power, and the key word in that title is the "and." That is, what you're getting on the left lately is a debate in which people are saying we mustn't look at conspiracy, we've got to look at the broader institutional systems. That's an argument being made by Alexander Cockburn, Noam Chomsky, Chip Berlay, and any number of people, and I think it's an incorrect argument that it's not conspiracy or class power, it's conspiracy and class power. And I'm not going to talk about any specific conspiracies in any detail. I want to talk about the relationship of conspiracy to the larger political economic context of the system. I want to start off by talking about that political economic system, and I think it can be approached in three basic ways. First, you can look at the system as a conservative celebration. We've had 12 years of that, as you know. How wonderful our free market society is, and how much more wonderful it would be if it were not for meddlesome government regulations and the demands of undeserving, low-income groups that feed out of the public trough. That's the conservative celebration. The second approach is a liberal complaint about how some of our priorities are all wrong, how there are serious problems that represent aberrant departures from what is otherwise a basically good system. That would be the Bill Clinton approach, perhaps. And then the third approach you might call a radical analysis. And that sees military interventions and the national security state and homelessness and poverty and an inequitable tax system and undemocratic social institutions such as the corporate-owned media. It sees these things not as aberrant outcomes of a basically rational system, but as rational outcomes of a system whose central goal is the accumulation of wealth and power for a privileged class. That is, it's not... If you take that third perspective of a radical analysis, if you move from a conservative celebration or a liberal complaint to a radical analysis, you cross an invisible line, and you will be labeled in mainstream circles as a conspiracy theorist, or a Marxist, or even a paranoiac. Terms which some people treat as coterminous. One theorist I will quote, h.a.a.r.p, who wrote a book called The Veil and the Mask, a book which I recommend to you if you like bloated, turgid, self-inflated theorizing that never pauses to substantiate his pronouncements. And McQuarrie, he says, conspiratorial accounts of social dynamics are produced by vulgar Marxists. He further asserts that class interest is seldom a conscious matter. That's the cool position. Less cool than him was 1837, a congressperson by the name of Abraham Lincoln. And this is what Abraham Lincoln said in 1837, quote, "These capitalists generally act harmoniously and in concert to fleece the people." Now today, Abe Lincoln would be dismissed as a conspiracy theorist. He is ascribing conscious intent to a class interest. We know that isn't the way it works, they say. Now, for some, conspiracy is by definition ridiculous and non-existent. But in fact, brothers and sisters, conspiracy is a very real thing. In fact, it's a concept in law. Conspiracy means people go to jail for it. It means planning or acting together in secret, especially for an unlawful or harmful purpose, often with the use of illegal means. It's come to mean, in fact, any machination, plot, or concerted deception. It's a concept in law. Conspiracy means people go to jail for it. It means planning or acting together in secret, especially for an unlawful or harmful purpose, often with the use of illegal means. It's come to mean, in fact, any machination, plot, or concerted deception. The major mode of operation is systemic and legalized. No ruling class could survive if it wasn't attentive to its own interests, consciously trying to anticipate, control, or initiate events at home and abroad, both overtly and secretly. It's hard to imagine a modern state in which there'd be no conspiracies, no plans, no machinations, deceptions, or secrecies within the circles of power.
Unscannable 33.